It was a wild one. Broncos win 41-32. Jameis goes for almost 500 yards. This was like peak Jameis. I don't think we've ever seen a better Jameis Winston game, just in terms of what he brings to the table. He should really play every single primetime game. They're always electric when he's out there. 497 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks, including 2 pick sixes.
He's the Babe Ruth of the NFL. Because you never know, is it going to be a home run or is it going to be a crippling interception?
No, he's like late career Mark McGwire. Remember when he was batting like 200, but he still had 50 home runs? And he would strike out or hit a home run.
Mark McGwire, white batting gloves.
As one of his former coaches told me, Jameis always wants to be the hero.
Yeah.
I kind of get that impression.
He asked God to have him stop throwing pick sixes.
That is the most amazing thing in the world. I mean, please bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been 23 years since my last confession. Please bless me and not throw interceptions.
No more pick sixes.
He's a character out of a movie. He's a character that somebody created in like a writer's room, and now we get to see it. And in addition to that, they were talking about his arm talent. Obviously, they make a lot of noise about his arm talent. He was a baseball player, 97-mile-an-hour fastball. And he's one of those guys where you can say, he really does have a rocket arm. Yeah. And when he's trying to drive that ball in there in the red area to Njoku, before Njoku did the fadeaway catch, that ball got on Njoku so fast. He did split the defenders there. He does some special stuff. I got to give him credit. And he's got this Browns team playing hard and confident.
Okay, the last interception in the end zone, and it's garbage time you shouldn't throw, but a lot of people were, impacted. Who'd you pick in that game?
Yeah, that was
Broncos.
Yeah, me too. We got lucky then.
Yeah.
That had to be, yeah.
But, okay, then you go to the pick six, the second one. I mean,
yeah.
What are you doing? But here's the thing about Jamie. You're going to – look, he's better than he's better than Deshaun Watson. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
And as Jameis almost has taken being Jameis to a point where he's making it not real anymore.
Am I wrong? Character. He is a character.
But he's always been a character.
But he's assumed it.
Right.
Like,
it's almost like
so far into it.
And people embraced it when it was real, and now it's almost not real. It's almost going over the top, and people are going to go, yeah.
You said it, not me. Like 2-3 weeks ago, I had a tweet during one of his player intros, and I said, Jameis, we get it. Like,
I love him.
You're a caricature of yourself.
But you know how society is. You know how people are. When enough is enough, they will turn and flip it on you. Okay, Jameis. And I'm just getting ahead of the curve because I think he's become a caricature of himself.
Yeah,
I disagree.
He's always been.
I don't think he can go too far in one direction.
He wants to see how far it can go.
Exactly.
Like last night, 170 yards passing to the other team. They said that Deshaun Watson only threw for 170 yards.
It's the most yardage in a game ever between
two quarterbacks
from a quarterback counting the interception
to both teams.
Right. It is
750 yards, 770 yards.
But we're not talking about his play. I'm talking about him and the whole shtick and the whole
pre-games, asking God to stop throwing pick sixes.
I mean, it's almost become too much. And I like him. He's a good kid. But come on. And
I don't know him like that.
But I don't know him that well either. I've only dealt with him a couple of times. But you got to admit, it's almost become...
I've dealt with him a couple times.
I can tell you agree with
him. He wasn't a preacher.
I can tell Mike agrees with me. He just doesn't want to say it.
Yeah.
But I say it.
I still think it's authentically.
I don't.
I don't think he's trying to play up anything. He's just gotten to a point where he's completely comfortable to say this.
You're wrong.
You think he's playing it up?
You're dead wrong.
Yeah.
He's playing it up.
He prepares these speeches in front of the mirror.
Yeah. But he did that to his teammates before. He was doing this stuff to the people.
And I'm not saying the religious part of it.
That's like he does it behind closed doors to people, and now he's just doing that out into the public.
And I'm not saying the religious part of it because whatever that's your choice. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the whole overall shtick. It's gotten a little.
We don't even have logos on our helmets.
Yeah, it's taken it and run with it, and more power to him because people are paying attention to him.
It's a cash cow.
But now it's a little over the top.
Here's the thing: he's one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't think that's up for debate. He gives teams chances to win games that aren't necessarily good teams all the time. He gives chances to lose games.
You're right.
When you're a good team, is the problem with Jameis and why he's kind of persona non grata for teams really going out there and trying to find a starting quarterback, is that he can have this game where it's just like we should have won. We lost because of Jameis. But he also has games where we should have lost and we won because of Jameis. But and that's
what do
why
you do with him?
No one really wants to touch him. But he's so fun to watch that someone has to give him a chance.
Yeah, but what do you do with him in Cleveland?
I mean, they obviously can't pay him much. They're cap strapped. They're not going to be able to give him.
But is somebody going to pay him much?
He deserves somewhere in the neighborhood of like 15 to 20 million. He deserves at least what Gardner Minshew got.
I'll tell you this much. If he keeps doing these pregame speeches that are premeditated, he's going to have a podcast that's worth more than that because you know how these fans are. Right. If they get one taste of something they think is entertaining, and to your point, the guy's just going to play it up. And then turn on him. They will get turned. They all get turned on.
So, okay, Raiders.
Well, whoever it's the thing is, it's going to be whoever loses out the draft sweepstakes. We'll obviously decide that in the next 5 weeks, but it's whoever's drafted 6th that needs a quarterback, but can't find him. So it's like maybe like the Jets. I don't know. It's obviously like.
I mean, are the Jets with Jameis Winston any good? I mean, that's a legitimate question.
Are they better than Aaron Rodgers, Jets?
Well, he's better than Aaron Rodgers right now.
If you gave him Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, that would be
you also have to be
an explosive offense.
You also have to be a coach who's willing to take on the good and the bad, and you know that. What came out of that game last night too, for me, what the hell happened to the Broncos defense? And don't tell me it's just not having the corner there either.
No, I mean some of it was.
Because Levi Wallace was terrible.
That's a big part of it.
But more than that, though, come on, where was the 44 sacks that they piled up all during the year?
The Broncos offensive lines played great. They had great plans all season long for how to block guys like Myles Garrett. I mean, you saw it. They highlighted it a little bit on the broadcast, but it was basically.
No, I'm talking about the flip side of the Broncos. For a lot of that game, Jameis had all day to throw the ball, even when he held it like Jameis normally does.
Staring down receivers for 4 seconds before.
Yeah, I am Jameis.
Please God, let this be accurate.
They gave up points, but then they scored 14 themselves.
Yeah.
So it was a net 18 point.
But those are give them to you, Jameis Rosa. I mean, and look, Benito made a good play on that play, but he stared him down. I mean, he stared him down. It just that if I were the Broncos going into the bye, that would be a little concerning to me because of how dominant the defense had been.
How about Jerry Jeudy? A little revenge game.
Oh my gosh, some of the stats coming out of this game were insane. Jerry Jeudy most yards ever against a former team.
It was a Big 12 game.
5 yards. I mean, the first time he ever looked like. Yeah, first time we really ever had like a game. You know, Jerry Jeudy,
like WR1.
It's always like he has a route where people are like, oh, that's why he was there. He never even has had a game where it's, oh, they couldn't guard Jerry Jeudy this game. This was the first time it was against his former team.
And he got the ball sailed on him one time. It would have been another 70 yards.
That was really in the game. Yeah, he would have had another big play.
I don't understand the Broncos' plan. Why would you just stick Surtain on him and say that was
because they weren't sold on him yet. Yeah, now they are. That's the next time they play.
But even as the game went on, they didn't put him on.
That's where coaches have to make adjustments. Man.
Of course.
Yeah, it's tough.
Levi Wallace, he was in quicksand.
Yeah. David Njoku, one of the most insane stat lines too. 17 targets, 52 yards, 9 catches.
He is a freak of nature, by the way.
He's a big man.
His arms are so long, dude. It's unbelievable.
Bo Nix throws a couple of picks.
I can't figure out the Bo Nix thing yet.
But he had that one insane throw to Marvin Mims.
From the 4-yard line.
But he also got away with a couple, too, that were lollipopped up in the air.
Oh, yeah. He did not. I mean, that was the most he's really.
Cortland Sutton, a couple drops, a couple underthrows from Bo Nix on these deep balls. You expect this guy to hit the deep shots now.
It's clear what they do with him, though. They don't want him standing in that pocket going through progressions. They want him getting out on the perimeter.
Yes, I mean, he's
so fast.
Yeah, so fast. And he also, when it is normal drop back concepts, he bails a lot. I mean, this guy bails quickly. He knows where his exits are more often than not. He's got a good feel for that. Now, is it sustainable to play that way? Not a lot of quarterbacks can, but he's athletic enough that it hasn't really killed him yet. He's better than most people thought he would be, and not as good as his reputation is right now.
I think that's a really good way to put it. And that's okay because he's a rookie.
Right.
He's obviously got a lot to learn. He's obviously come a long way since day one.
And he loves it, and he lives it and loves it. So that's the good thing about it.
He's got juice. He's got that competitive juice that you want to see from a football teammate. Like when you see your quarterback, and I heard Jason Kelsey talking about this on the pregame. He's like, he does the crazy eyes every once in a while. What you don't want to see is crazy eyes all the time. You just need to know that it's in there. Bo Nix, he has that. Sean Payton, I really like Coach Payton, and I've gotten to hang out with him a few times. I know what kind of guy he is. He loves this Bo Nix guy. Sky's the limit. But right now, let's pump the brakes on
Well, he's a weird quarterback. And he was a weird quarterback as a prospect coming out of Oregon in that, 5 years as a starter, went from play stylistically wise, just from Auburn, he was kind of like a gunslinger, really took a lot of bad chances with the football. And then Oregon, he just stopped doing that altogether by his last year there. And like I said, doesn't stand in pockets, really wants to get on the move, almost wants to not have his feet set to be more comfortable throwing the football. And so I think the fact that he's playing well already, this well, I think you feel good as a Broncos fan, but there may not be a next step in his development just because he's so developed already. It's 5 years of playing football. I don't know if there is much more developmentally from him.
So we're nearing the ceiling in terms of development?
I just don't know. It's this unique situation that he is. But I think people did underrate when they talked about Bo Nix, the fact that he is very physically gifted. That throw down the seam was not a throw that, even Bryce Young could make. That took a level of arm strength
that's a rip.
Probably about a dozen or so guys in the NFL do not have at this point.
It's funny because it almost looks like his, and you guys would know this too. Drew Brees, his arm got stronger as he got older. His arm at Purdue wasn't great, but his arm as he got, and he had reconstructed shoulder surgery. But
that's the thing; he had to relearn how to do all this. His arm got
stronger, and I think Bo Nix's arm actually looks stronger than it was at Oregon. And so that's a good thing. But
altitude.
Opening. Yeah, there you go. Opening play of the game. Was there any doubt? And the Browns knew what they were going to do. It was going to be some form of boot where he gets outside and tries to throw it. Well, what happened? Some form of boot. They were waiting for him. And they dumped him or forced a quick throw. I think the next development for him is standing there and staying there. That's the development.
I want to talk about Myles Garrett for a second and just how otherworldly this guy is from a physical standpoint, and his football IQ, his bag of tricks. And then he's a guy with a bag of tricks, but he can also just beat you with the one trick. He runs the rip. He stands you up. You lose leverage. Jason Kelce did a great job talking about it in the pregame. Were you watching this when he had Marcus Spears out there running the hump on him? And Kelce did a great job of explaining the dangers that a guy like Myles Garrett can present to you. And I thought Garrett Bowles had a really, really good plan when in one-on-one pass protection with Myles Garrett. He wasn't vertically setting. He was trying to take the fight to him. He got as wide as he could with as much depth as he could, but it wasn't enough still. And I'm talking about great explosive set out of his stance, Garrett Bowles, and it's just not enough.
But what Garrett did, what did he do in the first half? He didn't do anything in the first half. But then, as
they had a lot of protection over there.
But it helped them. But look, what did he end up with, Garrett?
But he gets his one-on-one reps and he makes the most of it, regardless of how well you set.
He went into that game with only one sack in his career against Broncos in 4 games.
Wow!
Didn't get any last year. It's pretty amazing.
Altitude.
Well, maybe. But they also dropped him in the coverage one time, and he got that drives me up a wall.
Well, it didn't drive you up a wall when Leonard Williams took a friggin' pick six back 90 yards.
It still drops me.
Yeah, exactly.
It still drops, but they play that differently.
Yeah.